Mangrove forests are amongst the most efficient natural carbon stores on the planet. Our sites in southern Kenya, it's more than 1,500 tonnes per hectare of carbon. That is at least 5 but maybe 10 times higher than a typical terrestrial forest. We've lost probably around 45% of the original global pre-industrial distribution of mangroves across the world. That's been driven by all sorts of damaging impacts such as aquaculture, particularly for shrimp farming, but also small-scale cutting by local people for firewood, for example, and large-scale extraction of timber. So we really wanted to intervene in that situation. And to do that, we had to work with local people. So local people are very well aware of the importance of their forests, but were faced with very limited resources. And our challenge was, how do we bring the science together with the new resources to make conservation of these important habitats possible? The funding model is that we're able to sell carbon credits on the voluntary market. More carbon is captured if you restore the forests, if you replant areas that have been degraded. So we work with 2 charities here in Edinburgh. One charity is called Plan Vivo, and they're the oldest carbon standard in the world, and they're very much focused on community and livelihoods benefits. The other charity we work with is the Association for Coastal Ecosystem Services, and that's a charity that we established to allow this work to happen. Around 82% of the money that we raise goes to the work in Kenya. Much of this work is done by volunteers. Much of it is also done by Edinburgh Napier students and researchers doing that work partly for free. And that's deliberate because we want to showcase this and use this as an example of how people working together across international boundaries, across disciplines, can make a difference. At the sites where we work, we're no longer seeing mangrove destruction. In fact, we're seeing mangrove recovery and regeneration. And we've also had an influence on policy in Kenya. So we've been able to advise on government policy in Kenya, which is now much stronger. Innovation for me implies and requires working across disciplines and working with a range of different people. Mangroves are a metaphor for this because they mix things up. They're not quite on the land, they're not quite in the sea. So working in mangroves always reminds me, let's mix up those categories, let's challenge those silos. And I get to work with anthropologists and with sociologists and with economists. Bringing all those people together is not easy, but when you can do that, then you really have the opportunity for genuine imagination and innovation.